So today I'm here to talk about how to maximize philanthropy's potential to create communities and economies that work well for all people. And at its core, philanthropy is about love. So when Kathy asked for a love offering, I think philanthropy is about love. Place-based philanthropy, which is what I am and what healthcare conversions are, has a unique and special role. It's fostering love for each other and our shared community. So this morning I'm going to focus on 3 connected areas through which our foundation works, because I'm telling you a 20-year story in about 20 minutes. And I have to pick my shots here and tell you a few things, and then I'm happy to answer questions afterwards. But let me just draw out, we are not a healthcare conversion foundation. We are not a big foundation. We don't have a whole lot of discretionary money, but I think we do a whole lot with what we have. So I want to underline that. It's not all about money. And we heard our morning panelists talk about that. So we work to maximize impact and realize the potential of philanthropy in 3 areas. We engage in structural or systems change. We cultivate and facilitate caring relationships and foster transformation. So structural, relational, and transformational. But first, I think important to know a little bit about my area of central Wisconsin and context for our story. So the aerial here represents the paper industry, the Wisconsin River running through the center of the state. And up until the year 2000, we were the smallest city in the US to house Fortune 500 headquarters. So 18,000 people with a Fortune 500 headquarters for over a century. So we had not only a single industry culture, we had a one company town culture. And life was very good for a long time in that area until 2000, when the headquarters sold, the company sold, and the headquarters moved to Finland. And within 3 years, we lost 40% of our total employment. And we had a real economic crisis on our hands. Not only did we have an economic crisis, we had a crisis, or a vacuum, if you will, of systems and leadership. So you think about everything in service of one single company in that kind of contained area. Leadership was provided by the company in general. Workforce systems, economic development structure, everything was in furtherance of the industry. And so all of a sudden, we've lost 40% total employment, and we have a vacuum. And we were a pretty traditional community foundation at the time. We were raising money and making grants, and that was predominantly what we were doing. And we went out in the community, and what is it that we can do, and had strategic conversations, and the community said, we want you to create jobs. And so for an organization that was cutting scholarship checks, creating jobs was not on our radar. But clearly, and very soon, we understood that it would not matter if we built a large endowment over time if we did not have a community to serve. And so our board decided that we needed to step back and assess what is it that this community needs us to be. So the way that we did business in the past, we knew was not going to serve us in the future. And the community was calling on us to do more than fund development and grant making. And thus, we embarked on a nearly 2-decade-long journey of changing the way we did business in pursuit of economic and cultural transition. So when you think about economic transition, it's very connected to culture, and the culture that had been created in that area was one that was not going to foster innovation, change, and motivate new thinking. It was one of dependency, multi-generations growing up to work in a paper mill, and you know this in other industrial economies.